Well, howdy, friends, neighbors, long lost, distant relatives, cohorts, detractors, critics. Have I got any critics yet? Because I would certainly hope so. I'm your host, Danny Winslow, and I'm here today with another edition of the Presidential Speculatainment Podcast. So if you haven't checked out the website, presidentialspeculatainment.com, head over there if you get a chance, if you're surfing the waves, because I've got a few, cartoons, I've got some articles, and I actually have an article on there about this episode's subject. And you guessed it, we are going to be checking back in on everybody's favorite Democratic candidate, Hillary Clinton. Stay tuned. Okay, so Hillary Clinton is running for president. We have confirmed here in the U.S. that that's happening. I do like to keep a factual basis to these reports. And so there's fact number 1. Fact number 2, we are ready for Hillary. Now that's sort of a deduction, right? You can sort of deduce that from the fact that, the bottom line is Hillary decided that we are ready for Hillary. Okay? So there's fact number 2. Fact number 3. Right now, out of the most recent poll that came out that I was able to look at, shows that among registered Democratic voters, that Hillary is polling at 61%. So maybe she has the primary locked in. Maybe not. But 61% is 61%. We can all agree on that. Fact number 4. Another poll regarding Hillary Clinton. This poll was conducted not just among registered Democrat voters, but across the board, and it showed that 52% of these people, that would be the American public. I've heard from a few people in the Western Hemisphere. This would include, in any case, I'll just let you know they were from Latin America, a country south of the United States, which includes the rest of the countries in the Western Hemisphere that are south of the Rio Grande. They get a little annoyed when people from the United States refer to themselves as Americans. So I have been told, right? This is a total sidetrack, and I just want to say, if you're listening, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to stop calling. What am I going to start saying? United Statesians or something? I mean, what would you say instead? So it's kind of a I had it first type situation. Okay? We had this term first. So therefore, 52% of Americans, and you know what I mean, checked the box or said yes to that they found Hillary Clinton to be not honest and trustworthy. Okay? But 45% disagreed with that. Said that they did not find her to be not honest and trustworthy. So, by account of both polls, I think she's doing pretty well. Because 45% of people don't think that she's untrustworthy and dishonest. So all Hillary needs to do in a speculative general election is get 10, even 5%, well, 6% of just some jaded, politically calculating folks out there to say, you know what, doesn't matter. After all, her husband, his more, well, if we're talking about the subject of being not honest and not trustworthy, well, her husband got elected president, right? So, don't you think there were some voters in 1996 that just may have thought to themselves, is President Bill, I wonder if President Bill could end up getting some strange blowjob, kind of under some kind of finely grained wooden desk in between, meetings with the economic counselors and, maybe a Japanese diplomat. Yeah. You know what, that guy, he would do it. He would do it in a second. Well, okay, now how do I reckon this? Because either I support his policies or, I don't like the other guy. Yeah, I'm going to vote for him. Screw his marriage. Screw his, his trustworthiness and honesty when it comes to being fidelious in your personal life. Screw it, I'll vote for him. So that's all Hillary's got to do. And the good thing is, if you're in the Hillary camp, is that she's got a prime source of information, right? She's got some good tips she could glean from the Clinton household. So that's where Hillary stands. She's not being totally fully challenged at this point. And the question is, can she hold that? And I don't know that, because I tell you what, there's only so far that I'll speculate. And although some pundits might speculate for just miles down the road, they're idiots, because anything could happen in an election. So, for all I know, Bernie Sanders could go viral, or anything could happen, right? Maybe Martin O'Malley does like a nationwide tour just at the time when Celtic folk music suddenly becomes like the next hip thing. So guys, I don't know if Hillary has got it in the bag or not, and that's not what this episode is about. We're just checking in, right? It's like Dr. Danny. Hi, Miss Clinton, how you doing? You run for president again, all right? Just wanted to check in on some of those problems that you had last time that we kind of checked up on you. And then you just ran out of the office, like, as I was recommending some critical procedures and stuff. You just took off. So I just wanted to briefly retouch on the email situation, right? And the private server. Now, the root of this comes out of the Benghazi scandal. And listen, guys, it's not my cup of tea scandal, the Benghazi thing. What can I say? It was a tragic, horrific event. And so I just don't feel all that bubbly, talking and going on about it. And in fact, that has been some pretty effective ammunition against the Hillary opposition, as they bring up again and again the whole Benghazi thing. People say to the Republicans, by people I mean Democrats and pundits, they say, well, why aren't you just kicking a dead horse? I mean, why are you bringing this up again? It's just salt in the wound, and can't we just move on? And while it is kind of a dumb point to make if you're trying to get to the bottom of a scandal, I do agree with them on some emotional level. No matter who is to blame for the tragedy, it still happened. We have yet to find someone who can resurrect a life other than allegedly Jesus, and he's not around at the moment. So, let's talk about something else. But that does lead me to the private email server that Hillary Clinton set up for herself. So this email server thing, it finally came out, I think it was around 2 years after Clinton left office as Secretary of State. And she finally told the public, hey, by the way, this is in the context of her being investigated for Benghazi, but she says, by the way, I set up my own email, and I actually didn't store my correspondence on the official, federal government employee server, kind of like everybody else did. And I set up my own server, and I kept it, like at my house, or it was one of her properties, right? And I kept all the records there, and they didn't go anywhere else. And they were just kept there, and I was the only one who could control them. And people were like, oh, you did? Really? Okay. New scandal. It's like the scandal that was born from a scandal, right? So it's this original scandal's, love child with Hillary. And she said that she did it because it was convenient. Now, we all love convenience. Traveling in a private jet, for instance, is very, very convenient. And so it's no surprise to us that Hillary likes to do things because they're convenient. But the question I would implore of Hillary is, if you're just doing that for convenience, like if you're just setting up that whole thing for convenience, why delete the server? Why erase the whole server and make it inaccessible to see all the content that was on it, after you leave office? Because it's not all that convenient, right? I mean, that actually takes time, it takes effort. So, her original statement that she did it out of convenience, you have to wonder, is convenience the same reason that she would delete that system that she set up for convenience in the first place? But I actually am going to give Mrs. Clinton the benefit of the doubt here, because she was an excellent law student, and I believe that when she said she did it for convenience, she really gave herself quite a pass. I mean, like a Hail Mary of a pass. Because, that could mean anything. That could mean it was convenient for her to get elected president in 2016. So, my God, Hillary, it's a genius move. it's a genius move to say that that was the reason. And in fact, let's think about this a second. When do you think that Hillary knew she was going to be running for president in 2016? I don't know the answer to that, and it is a bit boring to speculate on, but if I had to, I'd say somewhere's around November 7th, 2008, right? So that would, fast forwarding a little bit, go into Clinton's tenure as Secretary of State. So when she set up the private server and when she deleted it, I am going to give her full benefit of the doubt that it was in fact convenient. Because she knew she was going to run for president. And what's more inconvenient than just letting the record of your professional tenure as Secretary of State just be scrutinized by the American public? I can't think of anything more inconvenient, other than, of course, having a middle seat in the economy class of a commercial airline and having to check your carry-on because there's not enough space. That's the only thing that's more inconvenient. So there you go. There you have it. No, there's no scandal there, actually. Just listen to her explanation. But this may seem like a scandal. I actually find that it's quite a convenient but annoying to the mostly Republican investigation front on the matter tactic, right? I mean, she set up her own server and got to keep all of her emails and decide what happened to them. It's brilliant, actually, on some level. So now all she's got to do is just downplay the whole thing and pretend like it's just, like it's just like attacks on her that are unfounded. Well, tens of thousands of emails. I mean, how could I go wrong? So, Hillary, you're doing a great job. I guess keep up doing what you're doing. Although the one other thing that I will mention in closing for what's going on with H-Dog, other than Americans being ready for her, according to her, is that she has quasi-supported this TPP thing that's come out. So if you don't know what TPP is, it's the Trans-Pacific Partnership. Some pundits are calling it Obama trade. Other policy wonks are saying it's not a treaty, it's a multinational agreement, which is a distinction without a difference. But what you should know about it is that there's lots of information online, and probably the very reason that Congress was able to just pass this thing is because people like you don't know about it. Because it's an agreement between these various corporations who, by the way, aren't tied down to one nation, right? Have you ever heard the term multinational corporation? So, it's a transnational agreement having to do with corporate issues, specifically whether corporations can basically demand that if countries pass regulations that hurt their profits, let's say, for instance, you're an oil company, and then a country says, you know what, we're going to save the environment, no more oil drilling. Given the TPP arrangement, the concept is that that country is now held responsible for all the profits that you didn't make from pulling that oil out of the ground. And you might say, well, wait a second. Can't that country just say, you know what? Damn you. I'm a country. You're just a company. I'm not going to pay attention. I'm not going to listen to you. You're not the boss of me. Well, TPP says, no, the companies are the boss now. So it's bad stuff. It's a bit depressing. So I'm not even going to get into it right now. But I just wanted to say that Hillary has quasi-supported it in the way that Hillary quasi-supports things. So, did she say, I'm pro-TPP, I would vote for it, blah, blah, blah? Well, no, because, what would you have to gain from such a clear, specific answer? She said, Obama should make sure we have the best, strongest deal possible. And if we don't get it, there should be no deal. This is in regards to Congress passing the bill for Obama to sign, which they now have, so he can now do that. It sounds to me like she is pro-TPP. And so for any listeners out there, there's got to be absolutely zero left who were inclined to support Hillary. I would just leave you with this question, and it's a simple one. And it's one we should ask every politician, and it's usually the same answer, which is, have you become a shill? Are you essentially bought by some much more powerful rich people, corporate owner types? And how, what's your loyalty to them? And what's your loyalty to us, the American public? So I'll leave it with that. You might not like the answer, but these are things we got to ask on the campaign trail and in life, really. So, presidential speculatainment, folks. We will continue to seek the truth, you might say. And I hope you'll be there with me. So, until then, ciao.